Okay, this one's called Nipples. I promise it'll make sense, and yes, okay.
So far.
Okay. All right. Someone once told me that I reminded them of a 13-year-old boy. Now, I wasn't sure how to take it at first. Was it because I had a small, tiny-ish frame with willowy arms and legs and tiny boobs? Was it because I enjoyed running around in my underwear, gorging myself on Cheez-Its, while simultaneously doing push-ups in the living room? Was it my inability to pay attention to any one thing for more than 3 minutes at a time? Or perhaps it is because the only thing I've ever thought about more than the meaning of life, and if I will ever get a boyfriend, is lunch. No, I think it's because I like being naked. The other day, I tried to shimmy over a metal fence with pointed barbs at the tops, where I sliced my leg and tore open my foot for good measure. It would be fun, they said. Don't think about how cold it is, they said. Not only am I straddling a metal-pointed fence, my legs clenched so tight I thought I might give myself a hernia, but I am also in my tiny swimming suit, so just imagine how beautifully graceful I am up there. My arms clasped tightly to the bars, a friend on one side there to catch me if I fall, and crack my head open with eyes that say, "Don't worry, it won't hurt that much." While my other friends wait for their turn to scale the fence below me. We wanted to go hot tubbing. We would, or die trying, it seemed. So, let's just say it now. I know you were all thinking it, and yes, it did happen. My top fell off in all the commotion, so I'm now bare-breasted, top down naked, if you will, and trying to climb the fence, also trying to cover myself, while also trying not to cut anyone with my nipples, because remember, it was cold outside, people. These sorts of things seem to happen to me fairly often. I am caught in an awkward situation, a divey predicament, and somewhere along the line I stop in complete confusion and horror and think, how did I get here? And how did I manage to lose all of my clothes? This small attribute about myself might track back to my inability to be still, to stay constant, to sit day in and day out, staring down at my hands in apathy and stagnation. I have been to this place. I was only 10 years old and I had already tasted the sting of death and would never be the same. I vowed after that to never live seriously, and also that clothes were stupid. My little sister was walking with me the other day and asked me if Santa Claus was real. She is 10 now, and reminds me how 10-year-olds should grow up, innocent, full of life, and with a slightly strained family dynamic. Perfect living conditions, I say. Do you want me to tell you the truth or make you happy, I asked her. Lindsay, just give it to me straight, she said. So I told the truth, and she scrunched her little face up hard as if she was thinking of a life-altering decision, or perhaps that she really needed a poop. Does that make you sad he's not real? She looked at me dead in the face with her little gray eyeballs. No, I think it makes Mom and Dad happy that they think I believe, plus I still want presents. With a proud tear in my eye, I realized that my little sister had now joined the club. We weren't all that much different anymore, it seemed. I was in love once. His name was something in Spanish I couldn't pronounce, and he didn't speak any English. He was in my calculus class, and I used to help him solve integrals and derivatives and other math crap I pretended to know things about. I think he actually did speak English, but tricked us all into thinking he didn't because I totally caught him talking to his friend during passing period once. With my diligent help, however, I am not sure how well he ended up doing in the class, so I won't hold it against him. But that was many years ago. Flash forward 4 years now. I'm nearly 21 years old, and I feel like I've hit my cynic stage way too early. I feel like that is supposed to happen many more years down the road after you've lost a job or gotten divorced or gotten a liver transplant. You know, hitting your stride toward a midlife crisis because your hair is thinning and you can't see your toes past your ever-widening stomach girth that you can rest your plate on. You know, normal stuff like that. I blame my ever-growing cynical attitude on old Ricardo in junior year calculus. That Spanish beauty really did a number on me. I spoke to my English teacher about it once, and he told me, Lindsay, you're an English major. We all develop a crap attitude toward the world eventually, especially if you are entering your Kurt Vonnegut stage. And I said, but I'm a biochemistry major. And he said, you need to lighten up. All that crap is going to your head. In the end, he wasn't really all that much help. What is the connection of all these nonsensical stories, you might ask? Don't worry. I know when I started there was to be a glorious point to all this. There was going to be some great, insanely complex, and meaningful moral behind these strange anecdotal side stories. I was going to reel everyone in with a great hook, and then slap them right in the face with something deep and dark and brooding. I'm sure I could have come up with something tragically poetic and charged with emotion. I might have even made you tear up a bit and your heart sing with my majestic words. But then I realized something very important. I realized that my life was not dominated by a few terrible things, but instead a reflection of all these tiny, minuscule events that have added up to be something much more hilariously important. They have, somehow, made me happy. To be honest, I'd much rather remember the time my nipples were all over the place. It gives me great pride to do so. Sometimes life is just a big mess. Might as well make a joke of it while we can. That seems truer to me than anything else. Thank you.